Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. ¿Me puedes decir tu nombre? Can you tell us your name?
My name is Jack Foster.
Y Jack Foster, ¿cuál es su rol en la obra A Christmas Carol? What is your role in the play A Christmas Carol?
I'm the director, and I also adapted and wrote the script.
Oh, very interesting. Muy interesante. Jack, ¿nos puedes decir un poco acerca de la adaptación? Can you tell us a little bit about the adaptation?
Briefly, I assume.
Briefly.
We follow Charles Dickens's original as far as characters and basic plot, although our characters are all quite significantly different from the original, and as many adaptations do, they kind of tweak those in different ways. Our biggest difference is the character of, in our case, Emily Scrooge, who immediately you'll notice is a female part, and that was intentional. But our Scrooge is what I would say I'd characterize as a more rounded, more complex, more human version than oftentimes how Ebenezer Scrooge is portrayed. One of the many things I like about Charles Dickens is that he was quite against the wealth gap in his day in Victorian England, and Scrooge certainly was a mechanism that allowed him to critique a lot of the wrongs that he saw with that. So I really like that. But on the other hand, I think because Scrooge was so representative, due to that, I think he kind of got flattened out. And we attempted to kind of invert that end of things, where we made our Scrooge, our Emily Scrooge, really the most human of all the characters. And contrastingly, some of the other characters, the ghosts, who we do find some kind of humorous reprieve from in the play, are flattened in the sense that they are caricatured. For example, one of our ghosts is a little 60s hippie. Well, it's a caricatured version of that, not as many of the real 60s hippies actually were. So that contrast, I think, kind of puts the focus on our Emily as being the focal point, but also much more complex and much more human. The other major difference, and I think this is the most important difference with our play, is the original and all adaptations that I've seen, at least, or read, or have been exposed to, and there are many. It's ultimately a tale about redemption, a tale about change. In fact, that's what the ghosts are there to do, to initiate some repentance and change in Scrooge. And we go from a old, miserly, cranky, Christmas despising or hating fellow to, by the end, a jumping up for joy, giddy, Christmas loving, and quite generous person. I know that's good and well, but the question has to be, how long does that last? Is it real? And there's a lot of other things that follow from it. Our Scrooge is about something quite different. Without giving away all of what happens, the change that our Emily eventually embraces is to not change at all, to accept her, who she is, how she's been, how she always has been. And throughout the play, we get different characterizations, different perceptions from people who refer to her as that way, or different, or odd. And what Emily eventually not just accepts, like, oh, I guess I'm just this way, but she embraces, and she realizes the world would be a much worse place if she was any other way. The change she undergoes is one of acceptance. She is just how she's supposed to be. And then as that, as just Emily, not reformed Emily, not giddy Emily, not Christmas-loving Emily, but as just Emily, she's allowed to listen to the advice that her mother gave her as a young girl, to really be herself and live her life to the best of her ability as such. And that she certainly does. So I think our character of Emily Scrooge is the most compelling part of the play, our version of it, and certainly constitutes the moral, if you will, of our version, one of acceptance.
Wow, very interesting, Jack. Muy interesante.
That was the brief version.
Well, thank you so much for the brief version. version. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.